Well, traditionally, the Farm Bureau, which is an industry group whose members are the farms and the large farms in New York State, has forbid through their actions or threatened actions for us to do anything about farm animals. People have introduced legislation, but I have some as well about cows, about veal, about hens, all of that. Nope. They have a measure of control on the elected officials who represent those areas. So this is partially a way to get to protecting animals, but it's also something that is very present in all of our discussions in Albany in the Democratic conference. So this is a way to unite talking about animals and talking about protecting our environment and protecting humans from air pollution, water pollution, and things like that. So I thought I was, despite me being from New York City, which people who oppose this bill have criticized me for, um, this is a very important topic of discussion, awareness, education, and ultimately passage.
Yeah, we have really seen a shift in where the dairy industry is concentrated in this country over the past several decades. So, traditionally you think of places like Michigan and New York and the Northeast, and all of those places have traditionally had a lot of dairy. These new facilities, which we would call mega dairies, just massive factory farms with thousands or tens of thousands of animals, we're seeing those become more and more prevalent in the Southeast in particular, or Southwest rather in particular. So New Mexico, Arizona, there's a lot in California. The industry's growing in, several other Western states, Oregon, Washington. And so these mega dairies, these massive facilities, I do a lot of work in Oregon. The biggest mega dairy in the country is in Oregon. It confines 70,000 cows. We're seeing a lot of that in the Western U.S. where there's more space. It takes a lot of land to raise 70,000 cows. It takes a lot of land to grow feed for 70,000 cows. And so we are seeing much of that production start to shift to the West. The other thing that's happening, there's a program in California called the Low Carbon Fuel Standard, which is incentivizing factory farms to produce factory farm gas. So you may have heard this called biogas. This is, in previous years, like a byproduct. And now, because of this California program, it's incentivizing the production of biogas by allowing farmers who are capturing methane from their manure stores to sell credits into California's cap and trade marketplace. And so we're seeing a huge build out of the dairy industry in California simply to facilitate that sale of credits. So, previously, before the low carbon fuel standard, before we were capturing methane and turning it into factory farm gas, the manure from these factory farms was a byproduct, right? It was a waste product. It was problematic for farmers to deal with because you have to dispose of it somewhere, right? And now all of a sudden, you're seeing this become almost the number one product coming out of these farms. And unfortunately, it's to the point where it's essentially made the cows just like a cog in the production wheel, right? And many years ago, maybe 8 years ago, the general manager of 3 Mile Farms, 3 Mile Canyon Farms in Oregon, which is that 70,000 cow mega dairy that I mentioned, actually went on record saying that the biogas that they were generating at that facility is more valuable than the milk at this point. And so what you're seeing is the production of factory farm gas and California's low carbon fuel standard really incentivized the growth in herd sizes throughout the country. I mean, there are LCFS pathways in New York where farmers in New York are selling credits for the biogas that they're generating into California's marketplace. But that's happening a lot in the Western US as well.
Mm.